What's up, everyone, and welcome to Best Car Reviews. I'm Ben, and today we'll be discussing the things you should be aware of before purchasing an EV car. Before we start, please like and subscribe so I can continue to bring accurate and clear car reviews in under 10 minutes. Let's get started. You'd have to be living under a rock that's buried underground on a desert island on a different planet to not know that the world is trying its hardest to transition to fully electric cars. The debate over emissions and their correlation to the environment has been going on a while, and we certainly won't open that can of worms today. But as car companies continue to advance down the electric road, states are setting bans on the amount of years left to buy new gas cars. It seems inevitable that we will be in a world soon dominated by electric cars, and that will affect us all. Electric cars are foreign to most, and there's not a lot of information out there on them. And if there is, it can be confusing. Today, we'll break it down in a simple way to simply let you know what you should have on your radar when considering a purchase, the things the dealer won't tell you. Number one on the list, guys, is going to be charging stations. This is probably the most important thing to know when it comes to buying an electric car because if you can't charge it, you can't use it. And one downside to owning one right now is that there aren't that many charging stations. It's estimated there's about 40,000 currently in the United States. And you've seen them before, they're at rest stops, you get a whole row of them. But if you're out on a long drive, you're reaching the end of your range, you need somewhere to charge. If you don't have one nearby, you're in a very kind of precarious situation. So I'd say that's certainly a con. As batteries get better, ranges will get farther, and also more charging stations will start appearing. But as of now, that definitely should be on your radar if you're thinking about buying one of these cars and you drive routinely more than just around town. Number two on the list is going to be how long it takes to charge. Now, we all know when we're out of gas, we go to the gas station, it takes maybe 3-4 minutes to fill up our empty tank, maybe even less if it's not that empty. But when it comes to charging an electric car, that time is going to significantly increase. So, say you run out of power and you go to a rest stop, you're not leaving there within 5 minutes on a new full tank or full charge. Depending on your car, depending on the battery, depending on what you're driving, how aggressively you're driving, environmental conditions, charging can take quite a while. It's estimated they can take hours, and it's probably going to take at least 30 minutes to charge what you need to keep on going. But batteries and chargers will improve. The newer the car, the newer the battery, the newer the charger, the faster it's going to charge. It all really depends on the car and what's going on in the environment. We're finding out more and more that these electric cars really feed off of the environment and how well they perform. So if you're doing drives around town, that's one thing because you have a charging station at your house most likely. You're able to never have to worry about really how long it takes to charge when you're out and about. But if you are a long distance traveler and you want an electric car, this certainly needs to be in consideration along with charging stations. Do you have the time it takes to charge this, to reach your destination? Another thing to pay attention to is what it costs to charge your electric vehicle. This all depends on the kilowatt hours of the battery. Smaller electric cars are different than larger electric cars, like the small Chevy Bolts compared to the large Tesla Cybertruck. They're going to have different batteries in there, different amounts of power, and those batteries will take you know longer to charge, shorter to charge, more energy to charge, and the ones that are going to take longer are obviously going to cost more to charge. So it's said that a household bill for charging an electric car per month is about $60 to $100. And if you don't routinely drive your gas car a lot, you might not be paying much more than $100 a month in gas. So are you really getting a benefit there? You're still spending up $100 a month on electricity versus gas, and if you're out and about and you need to charge on the road at a rest stop, they're not going to have cheap charging options. It's probably going to be more expensive than it is at your house or wherever your home point charger is. So definitely something to keep in mind. The car that you're wanting to buy, you should check out the batteries. You need to see the kilowatt hours, and how much it's probably going to cost you to charge it, because that'll definitely factor into your decision. We've touched on it briefly, but range is next on the list. And this is certainly a very hot topic when it comes to EVs. How far can you drive on a charge compared to gas? Let's say, the average car is probably on a full tank, 400 to 500 miles of range, probably even less actually, probably like 300 to 450. That's actually kind of comparable to what EVs are reaching now. a lot of them now are between 400 even 500 miles worth of range on a full charge. So that is not necessarily a con, but it's something to keep your eye on because once again, if you reach that end of your range and you need more, you're kind of stuck. Whereas you just pull into a gas station and fill up, now you have to search for somewhere to charge and wait for the charge. So although the ranges are improving, it's still something to be aware of when you're going to purchase. Next on the list is going to be the higher MSRP cost of these electric cars. Batteries are expensive right now. Things are just kind of in the works. It's all getting started. These cars are averaging about 10,000 more than their gas equivalents. So that definitely factors into a lot of people's decisions. Yes, it's said that you get some money back if you buy an electric car. You get some perks, but it's not going to make up for the difference in that. Plus, you're paying $10,000 more, and all the costs that you're supposed to be saving on, such as gas or not having to charge your car, quickly disappear because you just paid 10,000 more starting off. So that's certainly something to be aware of. Another major piece to know about these EVs is the battery life and what to expect when you need to replace the batteries. So right now they're saying the average battery for EVs lasts about 10 to 12 years, which that is certainly the amount of time that people usually own a vehicle for. So that means as of now, you will probably face a situation where you have to replace the batteries in your car. Now, those are said to be running anywhere between $3,000 to $18,000. And I can definitely say that reduced maintenance costs throughout the life of the vehicle are not going to make up for a potential $18,000 battery. But this is said to get better. As batteries improve, as technology improves and prices come down, this won't be as severe. But certainly something to have on your radar because if you expect to own your car for a long time, this is absolutely a situation you could come across. Another item to touch on, and this is kind of a niche thing for truck owners, but if you're planning on buying an EV truck and you're planning on towing a lot, you definitely need to be aware that your range will seriously have an effect by towing. They're saying that a load up to 8,500 pounds will cut your full charge range in half. And 8,500 pounds is a little more than I'd say a regular trailer would be, but certainly something that you need to know. If you buy an EV truck and you're expecting to haul things multiple hours a day, then you might face a big problem because your truck is going to run out of battery very quickly. So as things improve, this should get better, but certainly something that you need to know and remember when buying an EV truck. Lastly, guys, we have how these EV cars are affected with cold temperatures. This is something that has been brought to the forefront as of late, as it's winter and more people are now owning EV cars and they're having things pop up and they're wondering what's going on, such as batteries not charging right, batteries saying that there's a full charge, but as soon as you start driving, the range drops significantly, or the interior components of their car, like defrost, aren't really cooperating with them. And you guys know, you go outside in the cold and your phone battery suffers. It's kind of the same concept. These batteries they're saying that they're going to improve. This is kind of a new topic that's coming up because so many people are experiencing it. But if you live in a cold climate or a very cold climate, keep in mind that your EV might suffer in the winter months or days where it's particularly cold outside. You might not have the full EV, performance that you expect. In review, guys, the point of this video is not to scare you from owning electric vehicles. I'm not against them. I'm not saying they're a bad thing to own, but there's certainly things that you need to be aware of before you buy one so you're not blindsided by some of these things that are a big deal and you need to be aware of because they're not cheap. It's the way of the future. You should prepare yourself for this coming towards you because eventually it seems like we're going to have to buy an electric car. But hopefully at that point, if you haven't already bought one, the technology is way more advanced and a lot of these things that people are worrying about now will be corrected and will be improved. So, not to scare you, I'm not opposed to them. I think they're super cool and I think what they could become will be, truly phenomenal. Hopefully, the whole battery manufacturing thing sorts itself out so it's not worse than actually having emissions out of your car because of where the batteries are produced. But that's a subject for another time. Thank you guys for watching this Best Car Review. Please subscribe if not already, and I'll catch you on the next Best Car Review.